everyone and welcome to this week's video. This week's video is going to be a tour of all of my artwork. So 2019 has been the year that I have vowed to make the white background disappear and to practice landscapes with my art and everything. But what does that kind of mean if you guys aren't familiar with my art? So before we kick off with the rest of 2019, I want to show you all of my pieces of art that I have done over the last, I don't know, 3-4 years, and just tell you a little bit about them and kind of see the journey and progression of it. But to do so, we are going to start with this very awesome and important sketchbook. This sketchbook is where the entire thing started, and Marine Mumbles, the website and the YouTube channel, came to being from this little guy here, and I love him to bits. So I'm just going to find the page so that you don't see what else is in there, because the rest of it's not very good. Okay, so here we have the very first Marine Mumbles drawing. I love this fella. It was drawn from a limpet shell on my desk, and I remember the day now. So basically I was stressed, it was in my last year, I needed a way to escape, and I saw a little limpet shell sitting on my desk, and I thought, I haven't drawn in years, not properly anyway, let me pick it up and give it a whirl. And I was super surprised with the results. I had mostly spent most of my childhood drawing dragons and knights and things of those accord, which I love to draw, but I'm no good at people, and I'm not very good if I can't see the thing. And I've not been lucky enough yet to meet a dragon in person, so I haven't really got much reference to go from. However, I have so many limpets, so that seemed to pay off. Fueled by the fact that I think that this went very well, I started to mess around and draw some other things. So this is a little cuttlefish, which I actually redrew in a recent video, and these are some mussels. I love the different colours of mussel shells, and I was trying to do like a study page with this one, but I don't think it came out really well. I got fed up when that didn't come up too good. What else is on here? And then we did some starfish. I really liked how this one came out with the white pen, and I remember really kind of getting some confidence as we went along with the different ones. It was about here, I think, with this that I decided to show some of my drawings to my friends, and to kind of mention the idea that I wanted to do something along the lines of a website. I realised that I probably wasn't going to keep this up if I didn't have something to push me to keep drawing and keep moving forward with. So I decided that I would kind of make a website so that I would have somewhere to post them, somewhere to keep me posting regularly, and somewhere to share as a way to be accountable, to make sure I was spending enough time kind of relaxing and painting these, since I was enjoying them so much. But I sent some pictures to some friends who actually ended up sharing these with some of the lecturers at the university, and they really liked them, which really surprised me. From there, that was really the kickstart confidence boost when I realised that other people enjoyed seeing these pieces of art, that I was going to go ahead and get this website done. So after a few little studies in here, I thought I would go ahead and start doing A4 watercolour drawings. So we started off, these are in rough order, they're posted slightly differently online. I think I did different batches of different things, but this is the rough order that I have that they came in. Some might be out of order, but roughly the same time. So here we have a snake's locks anemone. I really enjoyed doing this with tentacles. It was really quite complicated and took me a while. It's also worth mentioning that at this point, these paintings weren't taking me absolutely ages. This probably took about 5 hours, if not more. I did a painting which isn't here, but you can see it on my website, because I gave it away to someone, of a manatee, and I remember that took, let's just say it took a lot more than 5 hours to draw. And again, it's only an A4 painting. As I've gone on, I have got a lot quicker and a lot more confident, but at first I was, yeah, it just took longer because I wasn't used to it. This one was done on a trip home. I remember I'm not too happy about it. See, I think you can see that I tried some background sometimes, and then I decided that I wasn't very good and ditched away. These things, they're floating in midair, and I have no idea what's going on. I've never liked this painting very much, but when needs must, when I wanted to post, and you know, without trying, you don't know what works and what doesn't. I love this one. Again, this one took a lot more than 5 hours. I know it doesn't look like it would, but it really did. It took me ages. These background corallina were originally supposed to be drawn into, but this took enough time, but I like how it kind of gives a bit of a foreground and background effect, so I left it in and pretended it was on purpose. But I really like that one. This is a porcupine fish, or pufferfish. I think it's porcupine fish, I can't remember now. Drawn inspiration for Puerto Rico, so I went on a trip to Puerto Rico in my 3rd year in the January, and originally the website was kind of Puerto Rico and marine based. I kind of wanted it to capture every species that I had seen during my life. I wanted to look back in 30 years time, pretending that I would keep this up for 30 years. Hopefully I will, but it's waved in and out. And have a catalogue of everything that I've ever seen. Turns out I've seen a lot of species, and I don't think that's possible, and it would literally take me 30 years to draw every species I've ever seen, even if I see no more. So I don't think that idea is on the cards anymore. This little guy, let's cover those up. This little guy is a dinoflagellate algae called Noctiluca silicon. I don't know, I can see the word in my head, I can't say it. This is the algae that is bioluminescent, so sparkles at night. It's also called sea sparkle because of that, but the Swansea University boat was named after this guy here, so I thought I would draw it and try to do a bit metallic-y. Not that you can see it, but I had some nice metallic pens then. This is an upside down jellyfish. There are tons of these in Puerto Rico. They would sit on the bottom of the sand, and they were fine until you disturbed one of them, and they would release all of their nematocysts and stinging cells into the water, and all of its neighbours that covered the entire seafloor would also release because they would get scared as well, and then you would end up covered in stings like stinging nettles. It was lovely, guys. Thanks for that. I love this little fella. I think he's so cute. I was really pleased with how this one comes out. This is a baby ray. So he's a bit translucent at the bottom, so you can see all his guts and stuff. Look at his little cute. That is not me cartooning things. Look them up. They look like that. It's mental. But I really enjoyed painting this one. It still to this day, I think this is one of my favourite paintings I've ever done. And it was at this point I was starting to speed up a bit too. I think it kind of looks a bit better when you're a bit looser, and I was a bit less worried about painting this wrong at this point, so I was really pleased with that. These are some seaweeds. These are some seaweeds, sea lettuce and gutweed, both older species. Now I was practicing trying to get a translucent look. I think I like it. I've always liked this painting. I think it came out a lot better than I thought it would. This one is a rough periwinkle. Oh, I loved painting this. The shell itself took a couple of hours, and then this I did separately. Kind kind of after. I knew I was painting both together, but this went so well that I was a bit worried about doing this one, and I loved that one too. Again, one of my favourite paintings. I loved putting the pen on. It just kind of made it pop in a 3D kind of way, and I was really, really pleased with it. And then the patterning on this guy was great. And I liked the little hint of a background as well. And I spent a lot of time looking at photographs of this zoomed in, and I really quite enjoyed that. I hadn't really ever paid much attention to this part of the snail before, mostly concentrating on the shell. And I just loved the colours. Not sure what came over me here, but I decided I wanted to do an isopod. I don't really have anything to say about isopods. They're not amphipods, which are even worse to ID. And you can see this guy on the shore. If you go up a rock sometimes, or in the seaweeds, you will see these fellas. I think I just wanted to look at him up close, and I did and drew him. So that's all I have to say about that. This is a bass. I drew this. I remember drawing this in the summer back home in the south of England, and I think it came out really well. I am absolutely gutted, and will gutted to the end of time, that I didn't decide to find a larger paper to draw this on, because it doesn't have a tail. And yeah, I really wish I had larger watercolour paper, but I didn't own any at the time, because I would love to have continued this guy on. But I suppose still, he was a decent attempt. I'm not a massive fan of painting fish. I find them really difficult, so I was quite pleased with how he came out. I do not like this painting at all. This is of a grey seal. I can't paint seals. They're a blob of grey, which are very cute to look at, but very difficult to draw because there's no perspective or perception of space. I just don't like it, so I'm going to move on. This is of a polychaete worm, a giant ragworm. I've seen these in person. They are huge, giant worms. They're like, I want to say, maybe a metre is too big, but in my mind they're like a metre long. They are mental, really pretty and really gorgeous creatures. So I just wanted to paint this photo that I found. This is a rockling. I found a rockling on a trip out when I was rockpooling, and I decided to paint the fish I found, or something very similar. And they're happy little things, aren't they? They are just happy little creatures. And I quite like this one because there are no scales on a rockling. They're kind of like smooth, kind of like almost eel-like skin. And I don't know, when I look at this painting, to me, it feels like they feel. I can imagine myself holding the soft skin of one of these fishes. So I was quite pleased that I captured that. That might not come across to you guys, but it does to me. This one, surprise surprise, did not take very long, and I did not have a lot of time to do it. This is Condus crispus, Irish moss. They have amazing iridescent ends to their fronds, and I didn't include that, which is a massive waste, but that's what I went with. It was a quick fix for 1 week, and yeah, I have since repainted this and want to repaint it on a bigger scale again, because this does not do the awesomeness of this seaweed justice. Now we have one of my absolute favourite animals, a sea hare. These things are not actually sea snails. See, I can't even say it. These things are not actually sea slugs, they are sea snails. They have a hidden shell in the middle and they've kind of grown around it. These things are weird. I'm going to do a whole separate video on them because they are really, really weird and awesome creatures. If you have time, check out the blog post on them on marinemumbles.com, where I talk about how weird they are, but they're so weird that they deserve a whole video by themselves, so I won't go into details of that now. This is a croissant. Oh no, wait, it's Crepidula faunacata. It's the slip limpet. I spent hours drawing this. Don't don't know if you can see, but there's like layers and layers and layers of colours. There's greens and pinks and browns and blues, and each one I did subtly and trying to get it all smooth and crisp and trying to make it really cool, and it doesn't look right. So that's that. This is the original kind of sketches for one of my most, if not my most, I'm gonna say viral. I don't mean viral like internet sensation, but viral in the context of things that have done well for me. Comic. This is the original one, and some extra sketches of other things he could say. Some of them are not great, that's why they probably didn't make it in. Such as, I may spend my life sucking, but you certainly don't. Fin up. Yeah. This is one of the only, what round is it? This way. Pieces of artwork in my entire life that I have not drawn around with the black pen. I have an addiction to drawing around things with a black pen. I can't tell if I didn't draw around this with a black pen because I didn't want to spend all the time doing that, but I think it's probably more that I just like how it is. This is a feather style. So feather styles are really unique, kind of cool things, and they filter feed and wiggle their tentacles around, but they're also really delicate, and I just felt that I had already captured the delicateness of them in this painting without overemphasizing it all with some black lines and bodging it up. This is a worm, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's Eupolimina nebulosa. I just like the name because the nebulosa reminds me of galaxies, and galaxies are pretty, and so are the tentacles of these things. This is a really awesome worm, and I just think it's really pretty, and I really enjoyed drawing this one. I have fun doing tentacles. They were time consuming and you have to concentrate because you have to follow them through, but I just love when they come out the other side and they look good. So sorry, I've just reordered the things because I decided I wanted to look at them at the end. This piece of artwork has never been seen before. I drew a turtle. I was trying to go for the reason no one's seen this one before is I was trying to go for a depth thing. I was trying to produce like, you know, like a 3D popping off the page thing. That didn't really work, so I didn't really include it. But I had fun drawing him, but I definitely haven't done turtles justice yet. And I've kind of been saving drawing them because they're my favourite, and I don't know why you would save it if it's your favourite, but I just want to draw one and it'd be so good, and I just don't think I'm quite there yet. But there'll be a bit of unseen artwork for you. Oh no, I've put it in the wrong order again. 1 second. Hiding that. So this is a puffin. I painted this myself. If you haven't got it from the rest of the video, I did this against a digital piece of artwork, so check out that video if you want to see that. I really like it. I don't really do birds, they freak me out. They've got feathers and stuff, that's difficult to draw, but I like how this came out. I like the feathering, I think it looks fluffy. It also took very long, this one, so quite pleased that it came out good in the end. I did draw this twice. I can't remember every drawing I've drawn twice, but there have been some, and I drew this almost to the end, and then I went like this and smudged this the whole way along, and I couldn't lift it because it was just too much, and I was gutted and got really angry with myself and had a cup of tea and started this one again, and this one was much better than the first one, so you know, that's fine. This little dude is a hermit crab, Pagarus bernhardus. They are absolutely gorgeous creatures. They have the most beautiful colorations on them as well, and I included two little friends because you always find these together. Hermit crabs are not that I don't think they spend time with a lot of other things, they just seem to be, if there's hermit crabs on the shore, there's like 100 of them, or there's none of them. So you have to have some friends. And again, edging in the backgrounds, as this is kind of at the end of 2018-ish zone. But I liked how this one came out. Again, background practice, this is quite a recent one, obviously because I'm continuing with time, don't need to explain that. Of a little really cute edible shore crab that I saw when I was rockpooling, and he is gorgeous. And I quite like how I got the iridescentness-ish on that bit of the shell, which is what I was trying to do with the capitula. Just didn't work, but it kind of worked here. I can't remember how I did it, so don't think I really learnt the lesson, but good to know anyway. This guy took ages. There are so many otters on here. I mean, it took ages. This took so long. I think my willpower started to fade quite a bit, but I really like it. I just like how I've got little ones cuddling their mamas. I've got crabs, urchins, all these different things. Inspired by Blue Planet, and I really enjoy painting the background. I just think it looks cool. Maybe not the best drawn, but I think from a distance it looks really neat. So the other things I want to talk about is this piece of artwork I did for a research as art pieces, artwork that Swansea Uni was running a competition for. I think something wrong with my entry. I think when I sent it over, the file got all pixelated, because when I saw what the image that they had on the other end, it was like pixel, 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 pixel. It was literally like I did it out of 20 pixels, and I was really gutted about it. But this was the only other time I'd ever drawn a landscape, apart from my drawing of a giant Rockpool that I have done before. If you want to check the whole thing of this out, I've got a very lengthy video on it, so do that. But this to this, big upgrade, much prefer this, but it's quite nice to see that my style kind of, it's still there. It's still grown into it. I thought this was a lot worse than it was until I dug it out for this video and thought, actually, it's not half bad. But I definitely prefer this one. So I'm ending this video with two of my absolute favourite pieces of artwork. I did an article for New Nature magazine where I drew crabs for. This is a devil crab, and this is a common shore crab. This is my most favourite painting of all time. I love common shore crabs, I love crabs, and I drew this, and I don't know if it, when passion and stuff goes into it, it sounds really corny, but I loved, and I was so excited to do this drawing, and I just love this animal, and I really enjoyed painting this. And this was something that I painted quite early on, and I was surprised at how good it came out. I don't think if I redrew this now, a couple of years later, I could paint it as well as I did then. So I was always super chuffed with this one and these two. So they are favourites of mine, and I was really pleased that I got the chance and opportunity to do that in that magazine. You should definitely check it out if you've got time. It's a free nature magazine run by young people to share our love of nature and highlight how awesome it is. So I definitely check that one out. That's pretty much all for today. I think we've gone through all of my art pretty much. There's a few bits I've kept back that were included in my website design. I will be doing a separate video on the website design. 2019, Year of the Landscape. Subscribe and like this channel to make sure that you are keeping up to date with all of this. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a great week. I will see you next week because I post on every Wednesday, and I am excited to keep on posting. Bye, guys.